Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another edition of The Danny Show. I'm your host, Daniel Cody, and this is where I give commentary and reviews on all things wrestling. Before I get started, I want to send a special shout out to the new subscriber, Joyful A. I hope I said that and pronounced it correctly. Special shout out to you. Thank you for your subscription. For all of you who are new, if you like this video, don't forget to give it the thumbs up, comment, subscribe, so you can be notified on all things wrestling. Let's get started with the opening of SmackDown with Bianca, Sasha, and Becky Lynch. Before I get started, I gotta say, first and foremost, Bianca reminds me a lot of The Undertaker when he first broke out with his revolutionized gothic look at the Survivor Series 1996. Bianca reminds me a lot of that, and it's very cool and it looks awesome on her. Sasha, as always, looks great, even though Becky Lynch compared her to a disco ball looking fool. I don't know, but I disagree. I will say this though, I admire the fact that at first Sasha was able to whoop both of their tails while wearing 3-inch high heel block boots. However, Bianca, who looks also awesome with her Undertaker like from 96 look, was able to show off her strength by carrying both of them for the KOD. I hope to see that at Crown Jewel. That would be awesome. Moving on, we have a King of the Ring tournament as well as a Queen's Crown tournament. And in the King of the Ring tournament, we had Rey Mysterio versus Sami Zayn, which started off with a great Hurricanrana turn, which it was a senton turned Hurricanrana, which I thought was very awesome. But Sami took control and Dominic came at a concern. And Dominic made a very foolish mistake, I have to be honest, in trying to put the turnbuckle pad back. But it was a distraction to his father. And unfortunately, the downward spiral continues for the Mysterios. Hopefully they can bounce back. And I hope Dominic does not turn on his father. I hope that does not happen. I don't want to see family division. It doesn't. And if I do, we all remember what happened with Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy. That, I don't know about that. It made for some great matches, but as far as the story and making it look like Matt was the cause of the fire that burnt down the house and killed his dog, not the best. But make for great matches, just not the best storyline. And Mysterio versus Dominic, don't turn Dominic heel. Just hopefully they can get some improvement because they are going to a downward spiral. Moving on, the Queen's Crown. We have Zelina Vega. She's got cool dance moves, I will admit, based on what we saw in the ring earlier. And Toni Storm. Now, Toni Storm, on one hand, I got a little mixed feelings because with Toni Storm, she's a former NXT UK champion, and I just hope that WWE's main roster uses her well because I'm a little concerned because with Toni, when she was in NXT, she was used very well and things of that nature, especially in NXT UK. But with her coming to the main rosters, or should I say SmackDown, because NXT is a great roster in itself, but with her coming to SmackDown, we haven't seen a lot of her, and we haven't seen her in the quality that we're used to. But at the same time, ever since Vega came back, she has been on a losing streak a little bit, and her first win came a couple of weeks ago against Liv Morgan, and this is her second win. So I got a little bit of mixed feelings. I'm glad that Zelina Vega is getting a push, but don't water down Toni Storm. And for goodness sake, where is Shotzi Blackheart? Because San Jose is not only Bayley's hometown, but apparently hers as well. So where is Shotzi and Tegan Knox? Someone explain that. But moving on, that's not the only match in the women's division. We also have Carmella versus Liv Morgan. An encore episode, let's be honest. It's an encore episode. But this time, Carmella got the victory. And I don't know what to say about this new little mask thing, that little masquerade mask she got going on. I don't know if I'm really feeling the mask that much. Y'all let me know if y'all feeling the mask, because I'm not really feeling the mask that much. Last week, the crowd thought you looked stupid. But that one, not to say the least, Carmella won the match this time. And next week, it's going to be Carmella versus her ally, Zelina Vega. So I'm curious to see how that works out, since they were allies. But I'm concerned about all the women because Shayna Baszler is in the tournament, which means chances are Shayna Baszler is going to win the tournament. My only hope, my only sincere hope and prayer is that Shayna doesn't take everyone's arm with her, because she's been known to break arms. And of course, to some people, the good news is, to Mick Foley's point, that the stars from NXT won't be watered down, because when Shayna came from NXT, she is a two-time NXT champion and one of the most unstoppable ones. But at the same time, when she came to the main rosters of Raw, she was a tag team champion and wasn't the same. Now she's back to her disturbing ways, which means on one hand they're using her properly, but on another hand we don't want to see you break everybody's arm. That's just me. Don't break everybody's arm. We need a roster, Shayna. That's all I'm saying. But she's probably going to win, and let's just hope she doesn't kill everybody on her way to the top. Moving on, I will say this. The Cesaro versus Finn Balor match was better than both matches combined, in my personal opinion. Zelina versus Toni, Carmella versus Liv, and Sami versus Rey Mysterio. Darn it, Sami won. Darn it, darn it, darn it. But Sami's probably a cool person in real life. I'm speaking from a storyline standpoint. But either way, Finn Balor versus Cesaro. That match was better than all three matches combined, in my personal, humble, and respectful opinion. Speaking of how people are being used, Kevin Owens continues to be used horribly. They used him good this past Monday, but they're back to using him terribly. And I will say, I'm a little curious to see how this thing is going to go. I think it is a ridiculous angle between Baron Corbin and one of the Joker's henchmen, because let's face it, this guy looks like he broke out of Arkham Asylum and left Gotham City to follow Baron Corbin. Madman Haas, whatever the heck his name is. I don't know. All I know is the Joker lost one of his workers. That's all I know. But at least Batman has a relief that he has one less person to worry about, and he can go back to fighting his greatest enemy. I know Joker is not Batman's greatest enemy. I don't want to make Batman angry for saying that. But either way, Kevin Owens continues to be used horribly on SmackDown. Hopefully he'll be used better in the future. But from what I heard, is he still on SmackDown or is he drafted to Raw? Because if he's drafted to Raw, he might get used better. But please put an end to this ridiculous angle of Happy Corbin and this stupid character who looks like he worked with the Joker. Just, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And the jokes are terrible. What was that joke he told? Something about what goes, what instrument is connected to a toilet. I snort. I snort. That's just dumb. Just the dumbest joke I ever heard. I'm just standing there. I'm about to snort. Every time he tells a joke, I snort. I would love to see him go to Showtime at the Apollo so they can boo him off the stage. Just terrible. But let's get back to some business that's not so terrible. Um, let's look at Roman versus Brock Lesnar. The build up with Paul Heyman coming out and acting like a child got in trouble again. But it's my tribal chief. Look me in my face because I don't want you to lie to my face. But either way, a mixed reaction for Roman Reigns. I will say that. Roman got a lot of mixed reactions. Some liked him, some were for Suplex City. But hey, I still can't wait to see that match. I really wish we would have got to see that triple threat match between Roman and Braun and Brock. But because Roman had leukemia, it forced him to take time off as Universal Champion. Fun fact, last night I watched WWE Super Showdown from Australia last night, back when Roman was champion and he had the red belt because he was on Raw. But fun fact, I watched that. That was totally awesome on Peacock. And we were supposed to see that triple threat match at Crown Jewel. But we'll get another great triple threat match with the women. But hey, I can't wait to see that match. 403 days as champion. That is something to respect about Roman Reigns. So hey, let's all acknowledge the tribal chief. But before I go, let's get down to some real good business. Last week, Seth Rollins went to Edge's house. That's a bad move. You better hope you don't reap what you sow when your kid grows, Seth. But either way, Seth went to a man's house. And speaking of which, I gotta say this. I found out that Bianca sent a tweet. Bianca sent a tweet because Becky kept bragging about the 26 seconds and all. Bianca sent a tweet. I don't even know if I should say this, but she said, "That's how long you and Seth last." I know that's not PG. And I usually keep my stuff PG, but that was cold. But back to this one, matters at hand. Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch will make the ultimate heel couple. Also, Seth continued to challenge Edge, going after Edge's children, which is cold and something you should never do. And Edge finally responded, "Nice SUV, Edge." But he came out tonight. Man, it was on and popping. Edge sent Pat McAfee flying. When he threw Seth Rollins into the stairs, Pat McAfee went flying because Seth got caught in the headset cords, and Pat went flying right along with Seth. And so that fight continued, and Edge finally said, "You, me, hell in a cell." That got me excited, folks. Seth versus Edge, hell in a cell. I hope it happens at Crown Jewel. That would be awesome. But either way, I'm excited. Ironically, both men are drafted to Raw. But they're going to finish what they started on SmackDown, and I can't wait to see that match. Either way, I think Edge is going to get this one, and I hope he brings back his brood personality like he did at SummerSlam. That would be awesome to see. I don't know who my pick is for the men's tournament of the King of the Ring, but I can't wait to see Xavier versus Ricochet. That's going to be awesome. But that's all the time I have for you today. If you like this video, give it the thumbs up, comment, and subscribe so you can be notified on all things from the show. And I will see you again another time with another review on all things wrestling. Now, off to watch Crown Jewel. Now, I'm off to watch Crown Jewel 2018 featuring the match between D-Generation X and the Brothers of Destruction. That was awesome. The match at Super Showdown between Triple H versus Undertaker was great. And now I'm about to finish the story at Crown Jewel. It's going to be awesome. You can see it on Peacock. I'm going to see that. And then I'm going to find out on AEW what Kenny Nobies is up to. See you then. Have a good weekend, folks.